Welcome back to our channel, soap fans. Today is a beautiful, thrilling day to dive deep into the scandalous, high-stakes drama brewing in Port Charles. Grab your coffee and brace yourselves, because the explosive twist coming up will leave you absolutely breathless. Let's jump right into the latest shockers. The sterile, fluorescent-lit corridors of General Hospital are about to become ground zero for a cataclysmic collision of buried secrets, lethal pasts, and shattered romance. A seismic shift in momentum is about to force impossible choices upon everyone involved, and the fallout will be absolutely devastating. Jason has survived the unimaginable horrors of a WSB black site, but the ghosts of his captivity have followed him straight into the heart of Port Charles. Now, a shocking revelation is about to detonate, tearing through the fragile peace and plunging Jason, Britt Westbourne, and a mysterious newcomer into a deadly crossfire. The tension ignites the moment Jason steps out of the shadows and catches a glimpse of an intensely heated interaction. From a concealed vantage point near the nurse's station, Jason's ice-cold, calculating gaze locks onto Britt Westbourne. She is throwing her weight around, her fiery demeanor on full display, as she verbally spars with the hospital's newest hotshot addition, Dr. Tristan Roberts. The chemistry between Britt and Tristan is undeniable, a volatile mix of immediate friction and unspoken intrigue. But Jason is not looking at the romantic tension. His eyes are entirely focused on Tristan. Jason's survival instincts, honed by decades in the mob and sharpened by the brutal torture of the WSB, are screaming that this polished, confident heart surgeon is hiding a deeply dangerous reality. Jason refuses to remain on the sideline. Despite his monumental decision to step away from the criminal underworld to focus entirely on his son, Danny, his deeply ingrained need to protect the people he cares about overrides his desire for a quiet life. He knows exactly who Tristan Roberts is, and the truth is a ticking time bomb. Jason waits for Tristan to walk away, his sharp eyes tracking the doctor's every movement before he steps into Britt's line of sight. The air between Jason and Britt instantly crackles with unresolved trauma, lingering heartbreak, and the stinging memory of the violent slap she delivered to his face just days ago. But Jason ignores the emotional landmines. He is a man on a mission, and he needs to know exactly how deep Britt has waded into dangerous waters. Jason approaches Britt with his signature stoic intensity, cutting straight through the pleasantry. He begins to fish for information, his voice a low, demanding rumble. He asks Britt exactly what she knows about the new surgeon. Britt, still reeling from her own horrific ordeal of being gaslit with saline placebos and framed for kidnapping, is immediately defensive. She unloads her frustrations, detailing her constant aggressive clashes with Tristan since the moment he set foot in General Hospital. She paints him as an arrogant, insufferable interloper who has done nothing but get under her skin. But as Britt vents her irritation, she notices the dark, unreadable shift in Jason's expression. He is not jealous. He is deeply concerned. The bombshell drops with earth-shattering force. Jason looks Britt dead in the eye and prepares to come clean about the terrifying reality of his return to Port Charles. He shatters her perception of Tristan Roberts by revealing the shocking truth of their shared history. The audience knows that the monumental 16,000th episode of the show featured a cataclysmic collision of storylines, and now, Britt is about to learn the horrifying detail. Jason reveals that Tristan is not just a random civilian doctor looking for a fresh start. Tristan is the man who orchestrated Jason's miraculous escape from the hellish nightmare of the WSB black site in Jakarta. The flashback to that terrifying flight across the globe paints a chilling picture. Jason, emaciated, battered, and suffering from severe post-traumatic stress disorder, awoke from a violent nightmare on the plane. Sitting calmly in the seat beside him was none other than Tristan Roberts. The exchange between them was brief, cryptic, and loaded with deadly implications. Tristan looked at the legendary mob enforcer and simply stated that he had promised to get Jason home, and he followed through. Tristan informed Jason that a car would be waiting for him upon landing, shook his hand with the firm grip of a seasoned operative, and chillingly told him to enjoy the rest of his life. As Jason relays this story, Britt's entire world tilts on its axis. The psychological whiplash is instantaneous and severe. How does a seemingly ordinary heart surgeon possess the immense power, the top-tier security clearance, and the shadowy underworld connections required to extract a high-value prisoner from a heavily guarded WSB black site? The implications are absolutely staggering. Tristan Roberts is operating on a level that rivals the most dangerous spies and syndicate leaders in the world. He is a man who can make the impossible happen, and he has chosen Port Charles as his hiding place. Britt realizes with horrifying clarity that the man she has been antagonizing in the hospital hallways is a lethal operator wearing a white coat. This massive revelation completely rewrites the dynamic between Britt and Tristan. The fiery hatred she felt for him is instantly complicated by a profound, overwhelming sense of gratitude. This arrogant, infuriating doctor is the sole reason the man she loves is standing in front of her alive. The enemies to lovers trope is about to be injected with a lethal dose of adrenaline. Britt is drawn to danger, a trait inherited from her infamous parents, Liesel Obrecht and Cesar Faison. Tristan's hidden darkness, combined with his heroic rescue of Jason, makes him an irresistible puzzle that Britt will be desperate to solve. The friction between them is destined to ignite into a passionate, unstoppable blaze. But this brewing romance sets the stage for the most explosive love triangle Port Charles has seen in. Jason is standing at a monumental crossroads. He has officially walked away from Sonny Corinthos' empire, desperate to shield his son Danny from the violence that has defined his existence. He has deliberately pulled away from Britt, ghosting her in a misguided attempt to keep her safe from his chaotic orbit. But watching Britt gravitate toward Tristan, a man whose past is shrouded in lethal mystery, will test Jason's resolve like never before. Can Jason truly stand by and watch the woman he loves fall into the arms of a dangerous enigma? The jealousy, the possessiveness, and the undeniable bond of Brayson will clash violently with Britt's thrilling new connection to Tristan. The stakes are raised to impossible heights because Tristan's attempt to leave his dark history behind is failing spectacular. He came to Port Charles seeking a fresh start, a clean slate away from the shadows that have defined his life. But the past never stays buried in this town. General Hospital spoilers confirm that familiar faces are already tracking him. The enemies he desperately wanted to leave in his history are closing in, and they are bringing a wave of unprecedented violence with whoever Tristan crossed, whoever he betrayed to secure Jason's freedom. They are coming for blood. The impending arrival of Tristan's enemies will drag Jason and Britt straight into the lethal crossfire. Jason, despite his vow to leave the life of violence behind, owes Tristan a massive, life-altering debt. When the assassins and rogue operatives come for the doctor, Jason will have no choice but to step back into the shadows and unleash the lethal enforcer he has tried to bury. He will fight to protect the man who saved him, and more importantly, he will fight to protect Britt from becoming collateral damage in Tristan's war. Britt Westbourne will find herself trapped between two incredibly dangerous, fiercely protective men. She will be forced to navigate a terrifying maze of international conspiracies, assassination plots, and explosive betrayals. Her medical expertise and her sharp, cunning mind will be pushed to the absolute limit as she works alongside Jason and Tristan to survive the impending onslaught. The hospital corridors will transform from a place of healing into a high-stakes battleground, where every corner could hide a lethal threat. The psychological toll on all three characters will be immense. Jason is already battling severe PTSD from his time in Jakarta, his mind fractured by the torture. Being thrust back into a life-or-death struggle will test his fragile mental state and his desperate desire to be a good father. Tristan is fighting to maintain his facade as a respectable surgeon, while the walls close in around him, his desperate bid for redemption crumbling before his eyes. And Britt, who has already survived the horrific trauma of the saline fake-out and her wrongful arrest in Tortola, must now face the terrifying reality that her heart is pulling her toward a man who could get her killed. The tension will reach a boiling point as the familiar faces from Tristan's past finally step out of the shadows. The confrontation will be brutal, unforgiving, and packed with jaw-dropping twists. Loyalties will be tested, alliances will be shattered, and the true extent of Tristan's lethal capabilities will be unleashed for all of Port Charles to see. Jason will be forced to confront the darkest parts of his own soul as he fights alongside the doctor, their shared combat experience creating a deadly, unstoppable partnership. As the danger escalates, the romantic tension between the trio will become impossible to ignore. Britt will be forced to make the ultimate, heartbreaking choice. Will she return to the familiar, deep-rooted love she shares with Jason, a man who knows her soul but brings a lifetime of mob baggage? Or will she surrender to the thrilling, dangerous allure of Tristan Roberts, a man who saved Jason's life but carries a past that could destroy them all? The emotional warfare will be just as devastating as the physical threats closing in on them. The writers are masterfully weaving a storyline that combines high-octane action with deeply emotional, character-driven drama. The collision of Jason's traumatic return, Britt's desperate search for stability, and Tristan's lethal secrets is a recipe for pure soap opera gold. Every glance, every touch, and every whispered warning will be loaded with life-or-death consequences. The audience will be kept on the absolute edge of their seats, breathless with anticipation as the ultimate showdown approaches. Port Charles is bracing for a storm of unprecedented proportions. The secrets Tristan brought with him on that flight from Jakarta are about to explode, and no one will escape the blast. Jason's attempt at a peaceful life is over before it even begins. Britt Westbourne's heart is about to become a battlefield, and Tristan Roberts is about to learn that in this town, the past always demands to be paid in blood. The stage is set, the players are in position, and the fuse has been lit. Get ready for a pulse-pounding, adrenaline-fueled ride that will change the landscape of General Hospital forever. Will Tristan's lethal past destroy Britt and Jason, or will it spark a deadly, unstoppable romance? Drop your wildest theories in the comments below and subscribe for more explosive GH updates.